Well, welcome back. Episode 15 of the Big and Blizz podcast. We are your host, Big Mike, and I am your boy, Blizzy. And, let's get into shit. It's been a crazy week, not only for sports, but life in general. I think Big wanted to start with, Tom Brady still on his BS. I don't think he's going to get off his BS. It's bullshit.
No, he's just letting it all hang out.
He's got the Energizer battery in his bag.
Yeah,
keep going and going.
Like we always say, that avocado ice cream must be...
And he's not wrong either. Like, the shit he's been saying, the shit he's been talking is real shit. But,
now he's calling out the NFL...
In general, basically.
The refs or
the
just...
rule makers.
The rule makers, something. I don't know. I can't say refs because they're just calling what the rules are.
Yeah, well, we know how that goes. Sometimes they put their own spin on things, but...
But, he's saying that the way the league's been playing, the way things are going... they're allowing bad quarterbacks to be rewarded for making bad plays, and it stems from these...
He said they're penalizing the defense for offensive mistakes.
Yeah, and he was talking about how when Ray Lewis played, you just didn't throw across the middle because you didn't want your guy to get hurt.
And out for the rest of the game. Yeah.
And he said now guys are just throwing across the middle, hoping the linebacker hits them so that they can get a penalty.
Yeah, they know that there's free yards involved. Yeah, something to that, like...
Yeah, and what he's saying is that these guys are making decisions that are harmful for the team, for them, for their receivers, and getting rewarded for it. So it's making bad quarterback, not necessarily bad quarterbacks, but it's making quarterbacks look better than they really are.
Yeah,
because they're trying to make these plays that he says when he first started, quarterbacks weren't trying to make because they knew what would happen to their players.
Yeah, there was for every action there's a reaction.
Yeah,
and he's saying that it how it should be. It's what do you say? Deteriorating the game. They're not teaching it right because of this stuff. And he said what used to be and it should be is if his line didn't block or he wasn't aware in his pocket presence and he got sacked, that was on him. His line or himself needs to take responsibility. They fucked up. Now, these defenders are coming in, getting a clear shot on the quarterback or whatnot because the line or the quarterback fucks up, and they're getting penalized for it. And so, mistakes that the offense is making by, like he said, leaving yourself open basically to get sacked, the penalties are going to the defense. So the defense is getting penalized for an offensive mistake, and the offense should, have to eat that. Like with the kid, they do something wrong, they're punished. Most time, how it should be, they're punished, and they're supposed to learn from that. But if your kid goes out and does something wrong, and does something wrong to somebody else, and a lot of parents are like this, and we've come across many of them in our lives, and so your kid goes out and does something disrespectful to somebody else, and it's clear, evident, but you go and trash the person that your kid bullied or whatnot, and you just feed into it, it's not teaching your kid how to behave. It's not like NFL. You're not teaching yourself or your team how to prepare and deal with those mental mistakes or those mistakes in general. Yeah. It's putting the blame on the other side of the ball.
Well, yeah, that's what he said. He said it's, as a quarterback in a team, you should be protecting your guys. You shouldn't leave it up to the refs to protect your guys because of your bad mistakes. And so he says there's throws that some of these quarterbacks are throwing that he never would have thrown because that guy's going to get blown up and potentially be hurt for the game or the season or
fucking life, man. Some people break their fucking neck and shit, Saw Michael Irvin went out, but and he's right, and it's like so with a lot of these, so how looks like he's seeing it too is in a sense is. You're putting like a price on your wide receiver, like he might get blown the fuck up, but hey, we'll get some free yards. Like it's bullshit. So you're putting a price tag on what could cost him. Even if he's out for a week, that's a game check. Not everybody's a top tier receiver. Some of them live check to check, even though don't get me wrong, they get paid a lot, even at the league minimum. It's still a lot, but they also have to do a lot. With they pay a lot of trainers, nutritionists too. So
yeah.
But that's how I took his statement. Obviously, Big, you see it the same way. We watched that together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and speaking on Tom Brady and that, I came across something that Peyton Manning had said about moving from the Colts to the Broncos, which I as a Broncos fan, I'd never heard this part of it, and I find it kind of fascinating and just speaks to like
true
the competitiveness.
Yep.
he says that when he was moving from the Colts on to a different team at the time, he was in talks with the Niners, Seattle, and Arizona Cardinals, along with the Broncos, and he realized, I'm an AFC guy, and he's like, I want to stay in the AFC so that I can play against the Patriots.
Tom Brady, yeah.
You want to go through New England, so you might as well play in the AFC so you can go through them every year to make sure that you really are the best. Because at that time, he saw New England as the pinnacle, and he wanted to go through them to make sure that he was ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's fucking dope. That's like, you know what I'm saying? You could, that's awesome. And that shows how much respect he gives to New England and Tom Brady, too. And every time they ever matched up when he was with the Colts and, you know, obviously Brady with the Patriots, that was, like, it was top-tier news. It was a showdown.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he went to Denver, like, those games against New England against Denver were big fucking games, too. Like, it's always, you know, you always knew you were in for some gunslinging, you know?
Oh, facts.
So.
And it's crazy because people are always like, well, the quarterbacks don't actually play each other. And no, they really don't. So it's not really Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hyped like that.
That's how you see it. It's like that's your captain of the whole team.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how it's always going to be, quarterback versus quarterback or running back versus running back, even though they never play.
Yeah.
They never technically play against each other.
Yeah. Just
like their teams play against each other, and it's really at that point you're just trying to outdo the other guy.
You're trying to offset the points that your defense gives up.
Yeah.
So, which is it's crazy, but yeah, I see.
It's a weird way to think because, like, if you think about it, like in basketball, when Kobe played LeBron,
one player could change a game in basketball.
Like they play against each other.
Yeah.
But in football, when you're like, unless it's a defensive guy, two offensive guys like Peyton and Tom, or Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, they really don't play against each other.
No, not at all.
But they're like, it's Tom versus Patrick, and
that's the billing. That's like the fight card, you know, Woodley versus Hall or Tyson versus Holyfield. But no, it gives it that flair, you know. So
because it's not like Tom Brady versus some random D tackle, like
like Aaron Donald versus Tom Brady. That would be a verse. But real fast, while we have the Patriots in discussion, just a real quick, David Patton was an NFL receiver, played for like 5 teams over his career. He's been retired. He won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. That's where he had his best years of his career. Unfortunately, he passed away in a motorcycle crash in South Carolina a few days ago. He was 47, and I guess his motorcycle, from what I understood from the report, it crossed the median, and it was involved with a couple cars. I can't, like, honestly, I can't say I can't know who this guy was before I seen it pop up. But, you know, us being a sports podcast, it's a sports topic and an athlete. So, you know, rest in peace to David Patton and his family. Well wishes, and, you know, best of luck with all that. 47 years old. But sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there. So, go ahead, Big.
Yeah, and so, R.I.P. to him.
And anybody else who's passed away recently that we don't know about or we can't cover. But
yeah, and so, if we want to keep moving through the NFL, Urban Meyer's under more scrutiny. I know we talked about how last week how there was players that didn't like him, and
then before that it was him bringing Tebow on, which was kind of a stupid, weird idea.
Yeah.
Every week there's some new bullshit with him. He's back in his bullshit in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, exactly. And so he said, not supposedly, his exact comment, I'll read it verbatim, everyone was considered, that was part of the production.
And this is for the cut down to make the 53-man roster.
Yeah, final cuts. Sorry. Let's start talking about this. So let's start talking about production, and then also, is he vaccinated or not? Can I say that was a decision maker? It certainly was in consideration. So he is saying that those final few spots that obviously the stars aren't part of those decisions.
Yeah, so the rookies, undrafted,
it's
free
these
agents.
Guys that have been fighting for spots that they're coming down to. And he said himself that it was certainly considered whether or not they were kept due to their vaccination status.
Yeah.
And the team, because NFLPA heard about this, which is the Players Association, And they are doing an open investigation into those comments because it goes against the 19 protocols that were literally given out the day before by the league.
Yep.
The final protocols were given out.
It goes to basically vaccination discrimination.
And so the team reached out and said no players were released because of their vaccination status during final cuts. Blah, 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 blah.
But of course, like we said, of course you have to say that. You got to do damage control for your team.
And from what it sounds like, the team says this too: availability is a major factor in those last decisions. Mm-hmm. We have vaccinated and unvaccinated players on our roster. No player was released due to their vaccination status. Decisions were made based upon the ability for the player to help the Jags win.
So,
but
is that not a fucking oxymoron? They're doing damage control, saying we didn't make decisions based off vaccination. We didn't do that. But it's about availability, and vaccinated and non-vaccinated changes availability. Yeah. But we didn't do it because of COVID. But COVID and availability, like, what the fuck? You're like a dog chasing its tail in circles. Like, you're contradicting yourself in that one statement where you come out, oh fuck, I got to do damage control. Like, with guys when they have that friend that lies for them, like, oh, where were you tonight, babe? Oh, I was with so and so. Call him. Dude's like, yep, he's been here, that kind of shit. Like, of course you're gonna do damage control or whatever. And fucking the team's like, oh no, it wasn't that at all. But it was kind of that. But it wasn't that. But it was kind of that.
Yeah, it's not that they weren't unvaccinated. It was because they're unvaccinated and they may get sick.
Yeah, the availability of them not being... The team, obviously, that team's like it's like a garbage fire.
Yeah,
so far. But we'll see. They could come out and blow the doors off the league. Who knows? Probably not. But yeah, so that's a big fucking no-no. And like we talked about earlier, Big, let's be real. Behind closed doors with these cuts, I guarantee that every fucking team, all 32 teams, are probably discussing the vaccine.
For that reason, the availability reason.
1,000,000%.
Because vaccinated players have to get tested, I believe it's every week.
Yeah.
And if they come in contact with a positive case and are symptom-free, they don't have to quarantine because they're vaccinated. Yeah. Unvaccinated people the unvaccinated players, from what I read, have to have a rapid test every day. Mm-hmm. And if they come in contact, they're going to miss significant time.
Like 10 days or something, and they have to have 3 negative tests within 5 days or something.
Yeah.
Some shit like that. But, yeah, so like we're saying... No, sorry, go ahead.
What you're saying is behind doors... We know that they're making those availability decisions.
I'm sure there's people that are if you look at the teams, like the ones that they barely snuck in for the 53-man roster and the ones they cut, and barring one is way better athletically, I guarantee if you look at the numbers, a lot of those cuts were unvaccinated players. If you really had a statistician come in and do the statistics.
And if you were able to find that information.
Yeah, exactly. That's true, because that's confidential. But, like I said, come on, you lie to yourself. You think that that's not being discussed and used as a tool to help them make their decisions. But Urban Meyer was the only dumb motherfucker that was dumb enough to fucking say it out loud to the
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he needs to get on his tricycle and pedal back to fucking college, dude. It's
not looking good, bro.
When
he hasn't even coached the game
starts like this, I mean, preseason, I'm talking shit, but when your career's already off to,
it's a bumpy start for this guy.
But the Jaguars always are bumpy. Start, road, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, no. And then you brought up Tebow. Speaking of Tebow, if you haven't seen, Jake Paul won his last fight.
Yeah, questionably, but...
He tweeted on September 1st, "Hey, Tim Tebow, I think you should get into boxing." And Tim Tebow said, "Nah, I'm good." Yeah. Now that he's been cut by the Jaguars.
He said, "I only spar with Jesus."
Now that he's cut by the Jaguars, he's going back to doing TV. He's back on ESPN's college stuff.
Is he?
So he's going to be an announcer over there. And then you had said something about he might.
They said he's going to be
through.
He's going to be a regular, not a co. He's going to be a regular on Stephen A. Smith's First Take, and First Take, the new co-host. You were saying, you broke news to me last week saying that Stephen A. had been wanting Max Kellerman off the show for years.
Yeah,
and I didn't know any of that, so you brought that to my attention last week, and they were talking about who's going to be the next co-host take Kellerman's position, and the last report I read, it's supposedly it's finalized that Michael Irvin is going to be the new co-host with Stephen A. Smith on First Take. So do you think they said, oh, let's see, we got one retired kind of country dude in oh my god,
Shannon
Shannon Sharp over there with what's his name? What's the old guy's name? Holy shit, Shannon Sharp and dude over there. Do you think they brought in Michael Irvin to have that retired, country kind of? He's from the South, not country. He's from Florida.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? That Southern draw.
Well, I just think they like Shannon Sharp's a polarizing.
Skip
Bayless.
Skip Bayless is with Shannon Sharp, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, that was going to eat at me. Go ahead.
But Shannon Sharp says shit that's polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Michael Irvin falls into that.
He does, with all the comments he's made, even against the Cowboys organization for the way they handle things. Very outspoken.
And so that's what's going to sell.
Yeah, 100%. And he's not afraid to argue, get loud, because he's an aggressive. He's just an aggressive individual.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
if he's not trying to be, that's just how he comes off.
Yeah, and it's not aggressive in a negative manner, but he's just excitable.
Yeah,
I guess is
exactly. And his deep voice with the southern draw and accent. But him and, oh man, that's going to be unwatchable with him and
Stephen A.
Yeah, Stephen A. Stephen A. is unwatchable as it is, but he's a good dude from what I understand. And he got a lot of knowledge, but just his excitement level, and he can never he's very salty if he has to admit he's wrong, if he actually admits it, and just the hate he gives for teams or players, I don't know. I can't say hate for players because he's been on the record and off the record saying he's friends with a lot of these people, and he doesn't. He was talking about Allen Iverson when he was going through his heavy years of fuckery, and Stephen A. said he would actually text him hey, I've got to break this. It's my job. And he'd break the story, and Iverson said, damn, bro, you put this all on me all the time. And he was Stephen A. said, I tell these players, if you don't want me reporting it, don't do it. If you don't want a story to be broken for me on my show, don't give me a story to break.
Oh, exactly. Don't give me that soundbite.
Yeah, and that's my job. That's what I get paid for. That's what I have to do.
Because even if we cool,
yeah, you
I can't be nah, bro, fuck my paycheck.
Because somebody else is going to report it. It's going to be out there either way.
Yeah.
But it's all with journalism or shit like that. It's all who breaks it first, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's, but Michael Irvin and Stephen A. is going to be crazy. At least with Shannon and Skip. Shannon gets loud and, excitable. And Skip was always that mellow,
Yeah.
I mean, he does, his octaves raise a little bit, but Shannon's the what is it, the dominant one.
Yeah.
When it comes to
Oh, yeah.
attitude and stuff. Now you have two quote unquote alphas. Max would raise his octaves, Max Kellerman, but not
I feel like he took more of a back seat a lot of times.
I agree. That's
he
why
was
I never
more
knew.
like the
I didn't know he
nerd,
was a co-host.
He was the nerd,
yeah.
7 years ago on the 12th of April.
The statistician.
Yeah.
And see, I never knew that Max was an actual co-host. I thought he was just on the show.
Yeah.
Skip and Shannon are co-hosts. You know that. Shit split evenly. Yeah, Max took the back seat. You're right. I didn't know that there was a co-host. I thought it was just Stephen A's show.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a co-host.
Well, wasn't it always First Take with Stephen A. Smith or something
exactly.
like that?
So you can't really call Max. I guess you can.
I just think Stephen A.'s name was more synonymous than Max Kellerman's at the time.
I never knew who Max Kellerman was until I seen that show.
And now he's getting his own show on the radio, and he's doing other things. So he's doing his thing.
Oh yeah, 1,000,000%, dude.
But
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna transition. Speaking of ESPN,
okay, yeah,
bullshit.
Yeah, go ahead.
For those of you that don't know, IMG Academy, which is the top of the line,
Bishop Gorman, De La Salle,
these guys. The whole point of IMG is to pump out NFL players.
Yeah, and these they could probably produce NFL players from high school. A few.
Yeah, and they played against Bishop Sycamore, which before this game on ESPN.
Yeah, mind you, this is a nationally televised game at Canton, Ohio, the Hall of Fame Stadium. This had a full ESPN crew. You would have thought it was a Division I college game, but IMG does pack the house like that themselves.
Whoa. Or you would have thought it was IMG versus
Bishop
Gorman, or you know what I mean, or state championship for
Yeah.
Florida. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of those type of games.
Yeah, and IMG is so. Just to elaborate on what Big was saying, is a charter school. Like they have dorms. They've got a facility that mirrors some of the best NFL facilities.
Yep.
They got nutritionists and trainers for every position. Every player has their own tutor. Like it's ridiculous. They've got some of the most modern or next level workout equipment that some NFL fucking franchises do not even have. It's
and like I said,
ridiculous.
it's literally there. It's a school built to farm
Yeah.
athletes.
It's like if an NFL player just lived at the facility and never left. Yeah.
And so it's not, and it's like he said, it's not a public school, so no kid gets to just go. You have to be recruited, and
for athletics is their big thing, but it's also academics. Like there's kids that go there that obviously aren't athletes. But
Yeah.
it's like 4.6 GPA if you're not an athlete there. So, but go ahead, babe.
And so they played, like we said, on ESPN, nationally televised against Bishop Sycamore, who before this I had never heard of.
I didn't, yeah.
Like we hear about like the Bishop Gormans and the IMGs, De La Salles, all these places that pump out national or high school championships after high school championships.
Polytech and stuff.
All these schools. Never heard of Bishop Sycamore, so I was like, all right, maybe this is some team I hadn't heard about. And
This is going to be a good game if it's televised and IMG's playing them.
Yeah. Announcers were appalled.
They spent the whole game apologizing.
58-0 is what IMG beat these guys by. And that was like, what is going on here? Like, supposedly Bishop Sycamore had all these Division I
That's what the coach was telling me.
And so everybody's been going down this rabbit hole trying to figure out what's going on.
Like, who are they? Where they come from?
And so the tough thing is, Roy Johnson, who was the head coach up until, I believe he was just fired by the athletic director, in quotes.
Like they've got board members.
From the article I read, the athletic director was also the assistant coach on the team.
It's like one of those like you see on comedy skits, like some Saturday Night Live or whatever.
One
like,
dude plays like 8 roles.
Yeah, you're like, I want to speak to your manager. All right, I'll go get him. He walks off and comes back. He's like, hi, I'm the manager. And he's like, no, what the, I want to speak to his manager. Walks out of the room, comes back. Yeah, I'm that. Like, I want to speak to,
Yeah.
Like this one guy just changes his hat and his name tag.
Oh, facts. And so I guess he started the school as an online charter school called Christians of Faith Academy. And its main goal would be helping at-risk youth. That's the only goal of this charter school.
He was out recruiting from the ghetto trying to get football players. Even Jesus is shaking his head right now.
And so after some scrutiny in 2018, from state officials, it was impossible to determine whether classes were actually even happening, and the school's license was revoked, and Johnson was investigated for fraud. So that was 2018. And in 2019...
He changed his name tag in his hat.
2019, the school comes back as Youth Build Centurions.
He walked out of the room and came back in with the new school.
Facts. And this was in Columbus, Ohio. And it was a rebrand. It was another online charter school with a football team, which served as the public face of the school.
Yeah, online.
And then later in 2020, they would again rebrand as Bishop Sycamore.
He just went out of the room, came back again.
And they were 5-6 in their first season as Bishop Sycamore, against a schedule that only featured one team from Ohio. Considering they were in Ohio.
It's an AAU football team.
Adding that the school was not even a member of the Ohio State Athletic Association.
Oh, shit.
So
it was a scrimmage, basically.
Like, what the heck? And in 2019, the Youth Build Centurions had a match canceled against some school in West Virginia.
Yeah, here's the shocker.
Because the West Virginia team, the team's not named, learned that there were numerous players on the roster over the age of 18.
Dude, you want to go live out your dreams of football big? Let's go. Let's go right now. I'll sign for online classes.
And that's the crazy thing. I don't know what it's like in other states, but in California, if you turn 18 prior to the start
of the season,
no, it's if you turn 19.
Oh, you can play at 18?
It's if you turn 18 prior to your senior year, you can't play sports, I believe, in California.
Gotcha.
If you turn 18 sometime in your senior year, you're fine.
Dude, if you're turning 18 before your senior year, that's some super senior shit. And it happens.
Oh, yeah. We had a kid who played sports all through, couldn't play senior year because he turned 19 sometime.
He turned 19?
In October. So his birthday's in October.
Yeah.
So he turned 18 his junior year due to being held back a couple times.
That kid was as dumb as a rock. No, I'm kidding. I don't know the kid. I'm just talking shit.
But he was 19 our senior year, so he wasn't allowed to play any sports.
Like Uncle Rico, I can throw this football at the mountains.
Yeah. And so that West Virginia team was like, whoa, bro, you got a bunch of people over 18.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming 18 is allowed to play.
Yeah,
but they're saying that they had multiple people over that age.
Well, that headline I saw earlier, I didn't open the story because we already had a lot of information on it, was saying that the ESPN was talking about they had 20-year-olds on the team during this game.
I saw one that one of the guys got hurt, one of the linemen. They didn't, and that was the problem with the rosters. The roster that was given, I saw a picture of it. It was like they went into Excel and typed dude's name and just like, it said player, like player name, and you just hit enter, typed a name, hit enter, typed a name, and just that's what you did. And then it didn't have any ages or any numbers next to these names.
So you couldn't put.
And then after some investigation, some of the names that were on that list weren't even suited up to play, weren't even on the team. But some dude went down, his number was like 56 or 57, some offensive lineman.
But how did it get... finish. When you're done with that, tell them how they lied their way into this.
But what I was going to say is, speaking on the age, they said supposedly they found out that guy that got injured was like 30.
Damn.
Like 30-something. I think they said like 34. Out there getting jacked up by 16 and 17-year-olds. So Bishop Sycamore's first official game on Max Preps. And for people that might not know, Max Preps is a huge international website where they track scores and stats.
They rate players.
It's very monitored.
Yeah.
And that's why they make it a big deal. Hey, we're on Max Preps.
Yeah,
bro.
it's hard to get on. Yeah.
We're on Max Preps, right? And so their first official game as Bishop Sycamore was September 4th, where they lost 35-0. And ahead of the game, the athletic director, Dave Brown, told The Independent, which is, I'm assuming, a blog or something, that he didn't want his players or coaches to look information up about the team online.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. Well, what did the person say with the official statement? Or the person said something about telling them to stay offline?
Yeah, so, he doesn't want players or coaches to look up information about his team online. And I try to encourage our athletes and our coaching staff to stay off the internet.
It's an internet-based school. So basically, don't do work because we don't have any to give you.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, he's trying to lower the footprint. So, he doesn't want coaches posting pictures on, IG, hey, we out here practicing.
Yeah.
Because I started seeing some pictures pop up where, they're practicing at, the local,
park and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's there's a new story that I just opened. It says parent and player shed more light on Bishop Sycamore football fiasco, and it says it's just getting worse and worse. I'm not gonna read verbatim on the podcast because it'll take a while, but just this part. It says the long version is Sycamore, despite claiming to be based in Columbus, is not affiliated with the Ohio High School Athletic Commission. The address it provides to recruits is the address for the library of Franklin University, where the university told the Columbus Dispatch it had previously rented a room. It is a non-chartered, tax-supported school, according to the Dispatch, but it's unclear whether it has filed the proper paperwork to maintain that status. Classes are conducted online. The Sycamore roster includes postgraduate players who are as old as 19 and 20, some of whom are alleged to have already played in JUCO games. Head coach Roy Johnson was part of a federal fraud investigation after the African Methodist Episcopal Church denied being involved with his previous football-focused school. Johnson has an active bench warrant for failing to appear in a domestic violence case. But the father, let me get to it real quick. Ray Holtzclaw is the father of Judah Holtzclaw, former Sycamore player who is now on the football team at Youngstown State. Judah had planned on playing with Sycamore in the 2021 spring season, but here's his quote unquote. They assured me everything would be taken care of. This is the father, by the way. And then we were supposed to start playing football for them in the spring, Ray said. They had a schedule they put out about 2, maybe 3 weeks before the game was scheduled to play. I said, where's the rest of the team and where are the uniforms? Where's all the stuff? Although Sycamore played 6 games and lost all 6, Ray held Judah off the field because the team was hardly able to practice. The father and son then turned their attention to summer 7-on-7 college. Let me see. It says 7-on-7 college recruiting events, which were also a disaster. Ray told the Associated Press or whatnot that he was told by the school that it would be covering the cost of hotel rooms for a camp in Georgia. When Ray and Judah traveled to the next camp ahead of the rest of the team, he was hit with a surprise bill for $2,500. The hotel told him none of the team's 15 rooms had been paid for. There's a lot more that I'm not going to get into it. I mean, being big will look at this behind the scenes, and if it's newsworthy, and I'm sure there will be new info coming out throughout the week, then we'll follow up and do a part 2 of this little segment on the next, if it's newsworthy, on the next episode.
Yeah.
But, yeah, sorry.
And so, they obviously we're talking about they lost to IMG, but it wasn't the first time Bishop Sycamore had played against IMG.
Yeah, which is, we were talking about, is fucking weird.
So in 2020, Bishop Sycamore lost 56-6, finishing their 2020 season 0-6, which is what that dad was referring to.
Yeah. Hey, at least they scored.
And their closest game in that was 37-14.
Their closest game, but every game was a loss.
Yeah.
But hey, we had a close one.
And then in April of 2021, Bishop Sycamore decided to up their online hype through a website which has since been shut down and closed for maintenance. And in that website, nothing was mentioned about educational goals, support for the students. It only had information about a series of blog type posts, upcoming private workouts for college teams, how the school recommends players start creating highlights to get noticed, that kind of stuff. And then August, they opened up against Archbishop Hoban.
It's so many weird names.
Which sounds like a, what do you call it? Like a
another charter school?
Like a church school.
Oh, church, yeah.
Religious
charter,
school.
yeah, charter school. Usually, a lot of them are private or charter, but yeah.
Yeah, so they lost 38-0. And then the next week, they went in and played RO-SOX. So Row Sox?
What the fuck? There's a dash in their name?
Yeah. In Pennsylvania.
Like Elon Musk's kid?
They lost 19-7.
Yeah.
And then they come in this last week. Bishop Sycamore played IMG on national television.
Yeah.
And if this is a warm-up game for IMG, I understand that big teams do that. They schedule,
beat the shit out of another team.
But why national television?
I can't wrap my head around how the fuck Bishop got their foot in the door for that.
And so the school is clearly outmatched and unable to keep up during the game. The announcement team expressed its disgust at the situation, insinuating the network had been promised that the school had numerous football players with D1 athletes.
That's why you do your fucking due diligence and research.
But clearly, based on the footage, they did not.
Yeah.
The announcers started to question the safety of the players on the field.
We're hoping the game
because IMG was so much bigger, stronger, faster, everything.
Yeah.
And then this is what happened. This is when everybody was like, okay, what's going on over here? And learning not only that there was never a Bishop Sycamore as a person, like you couldn't go in person. Ben Koo of Awful Announcing leads the charge investigating into the school. that first to point out that they played 2 games in 3 days.
What the fuck? That's the what? Dude, this coach does not give a rat's ass about the safety of, I would say, his kids, but half of them are fucking grown-ass men, probably at the bar.
And so this guy, Ben Koo, questioned how ESPN even put this school on TV.
Shame on you, ESPN. You fucking shit the bed on this one. You
So,
really did.
ESPN's passing the buck.
Yeah, well, of course they are.
They trusted Paragon Marketing Group, a third-party company that made the matchup.
Wow. And fuck that company, too.
And as people dig in, things start to get more suspect. And as you mentioned, the listed address for Bishop Sycamore,
It's Franklin Library University.
the school, and this is from a Texas Twitter page, Texas Football Life. And it's a picture. It says, this is the listed address for Bishop Sycamore. The school, Duncanville, the high school this guy's trying to talk about, is playing on September 10th. It appears to be a duplex.
Oh.
And the other address, so there's 2 addresses, I guess, listed on their Max
The other
Prep,
one was a library. But
is the Franklin University building.
So the duplex is probably where the coach lives?
Oh, and it's legit.
With his mom?
It's like a duplex, and you see some, like...
I roll over and check this shit out.
It's got mailboxes out front.
Oh,
like
what? No, that's like a four. That's a fourplex. That's not even a duplex. That's a fourplex.
Yeah.
Probably lives with his mom and shit.
He's probably divorced. His wife took everything. You know, he's trying to live out his dreams of football. He can't play, so why did not start like a... I mean, if there was AAU football teams, this coach would be, you know, his team wouldn't be shit. But hey,
Trash.
you know, basketball does it. Why can't we have a traveling football team?
And then,
I know
right
why.
after all this pops up, Bishop Sycamore fired Roy Johnson, who started the school 3 years ago.
How do you,
School,
yeah,
quotes.
quote unquote, yeah. But how do you? There's like, this is a fucking a mask. So he even the fake person that he put as like one of the board members, the fake person fired him. He just walked out the room, came back in, said you're fired, walked out again, didn't come back. Like, what the fuck?
athletic director Andre Peterson.
Dude, they need to do a documentary about this.
Well, that's so
Netflix
so
documentary.
Kanye. I think it was Kanye.
Oh yeah, no,
Kevin Hart. Not
You're
Kanye.
right. You're right. You brought that up earlier, and I was like, what?
Kevin Hart.
It makes sense now.
Kevin Hart and
Nick Cannon probably.
there was the other person. I'll look in a second. So he said he's firing back, as everybody says it's a scam. He told USA Today.
Who?
Andre Peterson.
Okay. I thought you were still talking about Kevin Hart.
No, he said I'm not gaining anything financially from this. So how am I scamming? So you're not getting paid to be the athletic director?
Right. That makes. Yeah. You're.
It should be noted that as of August 30th, there was an active GoFundMe page trying to raise $20,000 for Bishop Sycamore.
Oh my god.
Since then, GoFundMe has shut down the.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Bishop Sycamore's website is also down for maintenance, but you can look at the past articles via Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that you can look at past stuff.
Yeah, that's been deleted. It keeps
Yeah.
it all in one database.
But
what $10 says they come out with a new school name. They just rebrand their school again for the 4th time.
but it says schools have begun backing out of scheduled games against Bishop Sycamore.
I would hope so.
Oh yeah, facts. So,
I mean, unless you have a team like you're a small town and your team's shit, you know they are, and you're like, hey, we need this to pump the guys up. Hey, fucking homecoming, let's play this team, you know?
oh yeah, let's bring these motherfuckers in. Yeah. So this came from Bleacher Report. Bishop Sycamore documentary in the works from Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Productions.
Dope.
I thought I heard
That
that
was
there was
quick.
going to be another.
That was fucking quick. Kevin Hart.
Right, he said,
he
"Whoop,
bought rights hella fast. Nobody else could. I'm gonna watch that.
Oh hell yeah! You know what? Like,
So we're sports fanatics, obviously. Like way before the podcast, we've always been.
Rick Paul was the other one.
Oh, okay. That's Rich Paul.
Rich Paul, yeah.
That's LeBron's man. That's
Yeah.
it was his agent and shit. And
So Kevin Hart and Rich Paul are getting together and doing this
that's dope.
docuseries.
That's dope. Rich Paul's actually dating Adele right now, the singer.
So honestly, if Kevin Hart is like voiceover in some of this
Oh
shit,
my god, dude. He's gonna be. You know, what the fuck is that? You know, did that shit really just happen? Hold on, run that back.
like
That's
it
gonna
could
be
be
awesome.
funny.
Oh, it could. Well, and if they make it serious, like Rich Paul and Kevin Hart both have the means to do it. You know.
Oh, and that's the thing is like,
If you
everybody
guys
sees Kevin Hart as
comedian,
just the comedian.
yeah, the face.
And I mean, honestly, that's what we all see.
He's got
but it's
so much shit behind the scenes.
one of my favorite movies from him is the one where he takes care of that guy in the wheelchair.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite Kevin Hart movies because it shows, one, that he's not just that goofy, dumb, like...
Yeah, take shit
funny.
too far, and...
It shows, like, he really can act.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
And it's a super good movie.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite, like, movies. Like,
and a lot of the movies he's been in, or some of the movie, is from Heartbeat Productions. Like, I don't know, like the series Dave, it's about Lil Dicky, his series on Hulu or whatever at FX. That is, Kevin Hart produces, that's his, you know, him.
he's going that Adam Sandler route where he starts producing, you know.
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
he's doing good. He's like Adam Sandler. He's got his crew that he's kept around, you know. But Rich Paul, the other side of that, teaming up to do the documentary. If you guys don't know Rich Paul's story, go check it out. It's too long of a story to tell. But that motherfucker, like, what he's overcome and how he got on LeBron's radar and how they met, it's a crazy story. It's pretty fucking cool, though. And
Clutch Sports, I'm pretty sure that that LaMelo... No, I think LaMelo's with Rock Nation. But there's big name athletes from all different sports that are with Clutch Sports, and that's LeBron and Rich Paul. Rich Paul is cool, though. But yeah, that's going to be a fire-ass documentary, no matter how you spin it, whether it's a serious documentary or they put a comedy spin on it or whatnot. But carrying on with fraud, how about the Raiders being audited? So,
there's not... We dove and dove. There's not a ton of information.
And the information that they do have is kind of... It's hard to understand because it's financial terms and stuff, you know?
Yeah, but from what it stems... The big thing is it stems from... Supposedly they didn't put income on their IRS.
They didn't report some income, and they had a loan to come back to
and there was some... part of it, there's... Part of it, I don't know if some of the money made off of that loan plays into it.
Either way, they're getting audited by the feds now.
For some unpaid taxes, and they had some big names
Yeah.
way up that have been in the program for 30 years resign. So are they resigning because
not the general manager, but one of the C whatever,
because they were part of the tax fraud?
I honestly thought it was due to the COVID shit that they resigned until you read that off a little bit earlier, and I was like, that makes sense.
The only thing the Raiders have said is they said they thanked the guys for their service.
Yeah.
And then they hired an outside legal team.
Yeah. They got to combat it. They got to get behind or in front of it. And while all this is taking place, fucking Mark Davis is building a $14 million mansion out in the desert in Las Vegas. This mansion is fucking dope. It looks like a smaller version of Allegiant Stadium.
And I think that's probably his point.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. It is fucking badass. The renderings and how the pool's gonna look and everything. But mind you, freaking his dad, Al Davis, still lived in the same house in like Berkeley, I think. Just a corner house. It was a bigger house, but it wasn't a fucking mansion. It wasn't gated. It didn't even have a fence around the front yard. And he lived there as, like majority of his later days and everything. And it was just like probably a big family house. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a mansion. It wasn't new. Drove a fucking Mark Davis drove a minivan, I believe, to work like in Oakland, the Coliseum. He used to drive an older minivan. Like I guess he's like a cheapskate kind of guy. But now, ever since his dad died, all of a sudden, he's dressing nicer. He's looking nicer. The Hall of Fame ceremony when Charles Woodson got inducted, he actually looked a lot. I'm not saying good, but he looked a lot better than he usually does. He's building a $14 million mansion in Vegas. Like he's like, dad's off.
I got all the money now.
Yeah, right. Moved to Vegas. He's off there fucking hookers, probably doing some blow. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm just talking shit. Getting carried away. But yeah, that was just newsworthy to touch on. But we don't really know too many deets. If more comes out, we'll talk about that on a future episode. But keeping it with football, we have the question about Cam Newton, or also that freshman. Like, what do you want to go into, Big? What do you want to dive into?
Well, I mean, the quick answer is, I mean, Cam Newton got cut.
Yeah, Mac
that's-
Jones is starting. over
Mac
there.
Jones, and I think the funniest thing is this. You remember years ago there was that commercial with Cam Newton. It was an NFL commercial. There was this little kid, and it was like,
Yeah.
"I'm your mom's favorite quarterback"
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And now it's like
It's come full circle.
it's come
almost.
full circle, yeah, because Mac Jones is like this unathletic looking. Like when you
Yeah.
compare their physique,
Yeah.
Mac Jones
Cam's
is-
like 6'6" and shit.
Mac Jones he has that kind of like dad bod physique.
He's got the Tom Brady A-Rod.
And so
Yeah,
it's
or-
like it's come full circle because that little kid is his mom's number one quarterback
That's
now. Way.
fucked up.
And I was
dude.
like, nah.
That's to think that Jameis Winston is starting for the fucking Saints and Cam Newton's jobless.
Right?
That's kind of harsh, man. That's pretty bad.
I did hear something that I just saw it in passing, that some of the Patriots players that said that Cam Newton needs to stop worrying about like what music he listens to during workouts
Yeah.
and start focusing more on the actual workout.
He's always been a diva, from what I understand.
And so maybe he's just at this point where like he has the physical tools, obviously.
Oh yeah, and he's made fuck you money.
But maybe he just needed this humbling cut by the Patriots.
I thought the fucking cut from the Panthers was going to be that. Remember, he was showing all those videos of him working out in the offseason after the cut from the Panthers.
Yeah.
Talking about how he's got a chip on his shoulder, he's coming back with a vengeance, and he looked fucking amazing. Like, his workouts were crazy. And you think that would be the humbling aspect of it, but some people just get content, and they don't, And, I mean, he made it to the NFL, he's, made it to a Super Bowl, like, he won Rookie of the Year. He broke rookie records. He broke NFL records. He made fucking multiple Pro Bowls. Like, the only thing he hasn't done is won a championship, and now stayed with the team. But got a new team. So it's weird to see that fucking Jameis Winston is a starter in the NFL and Cam Newton's jobless. But that goes back to like Kaepernick could have been signed too, but that's a whole other story. But I think Cam Newton's, I would think, is better than at least 5 starters that are going to be starting in the NFL. I mean, who does Indy have with Carson Wentz being injured? Who's their quarterback? You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
hey, Gardner Minshew's still got a job.
Yeah,
Cam Newton, no.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew's in Philly now. Like, I don't know. That's crazy. I just don't. Maybe he's just put a black eye in the league. There, people talk. The league is a league with a lot of people involved with front office, coaches, staff, fucking players. But in the grand scheme of the world, the grand scheme of things, it's a small community. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
Might be a lot of players. Like, I think the NFL has more players than any other sport, right? Because they have a 53-man roster on each side, each team, and there's 32 teams plus the staff.
Yeah, so long as you're not talking about
Not practice squad.
like,
Just,
well, I'm just saying, as long as you don't bring in baseball's minor league stuff.
yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
the NCAA probably definitely has more.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about like an actual, because NCAA is not, you've got your schools that are their own commodity, and then you have their division like the Big Ten, the the SEC. Then the NCAA is just, they're basically the guardians that oversee everything. But yeah, so the NFL is a huge, and the NFL is like the only, is there any other leagues that don't have minor league teams? Like, the NFL does not have, college is their minor league.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, I think that's the only sport that doesn't have minor league, right? Soccer?
I don't know if they have a dedicated minor league, but they have a lot of like small leagues they pull from.
The big 4 sports in America, baseball, football, basketball, and hockey. Mm-hmm. NFL is the only one that doesn't have minor league teams.
Yep.
Okay. So anyways, the point I'm making is, it's a lot of fucking people involved with front office and everything in the NFL.
Rub a couple people the wrong way,
but it's a small community in the big scheme of things with life and the world,
So
maybe he's pissed enough people off, and the words travel.
Yeah. So you said, who could he, like, potentially who would he be a better starter than?
Yeah.
So I looked up the rankings as of 2 days ago on starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay.
Number 32. And I'm going from bottom because obviously he's not taking Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
What team?
So Panthers.
No,
Sam
shit.
Darnold.
Oh, God.
That's their starter.
That big-headed... He looks like the type. Touch me and my dad will sue.
So obviously he's not going back there.
Yeah. Well, so the owner said that he wanted to bring... The new owner... Remember I read the headline? Said that he wanted to bring Cam back in at some point. So... But...
And then Teddy Bridgewater for the Broncos.
Yeah.
I don't see them bringing him in.
I don't either, but I think he'd be a better fit. Or not, maybe not fit, but better athletic.
The Bears have chose to go with Andy Dalton as their starter and not Justin Fields.
The Red Rocket.
I feel like they're doing this because the coach can be like, look, I let the veteran start.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to shit the bed in a few games.
Yeah.
Justin Fields comes in, plays well. Coach looks like a genius.
Yeah.
So they're not going to bring in Cam to fuck up Justin Fields.
1,000,000%.
29th, Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
For the Patriots.
Oh
the dude who just took Cam's job.
Yeah, but I wonder why he took Cam's job. Like, was he that incredible in preseason?
Mac Jones...
Is he the next Tom Brady over there?
I don't know, dude. He does...
He has sparks of it.
What he does is... He does what Tom Brady did well. Is he... Like, Tom Brady could throw those big bombs.
Mm-hmm. He just picked it apart.
But he took what was there.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, Tom Brady's the dink and dunk master. He
had
took
no other
what
options.
the defense gave him.
Yeah, he had no other options.
He's not Brett Favre,
No.
who's going to throw a ball
Yeah.
and hope the receiver makes a play a lot.
Yeah.
Or Matt Ryan did the same thing with Julio.
Yeah.
Hey, if Julio's one-on-one,
He'd go up and get it, yeah.
trust Julio.
Yeah.
Or Matt Stafford with Calvin Johnson. Hey,
Yeah,
Calvin Johnson one-on-one.
Yeah, so you 11 out of 10 times.
And so Mac Jones is just more of that. I'm going to take what they give me.
He's surgical.
Yeah. Zach Wilson and the Jets, that's 28.
Zach Wilson? The rookie?
It's his second year.
Really? Never even heard the name. That's sad.
Oh, no, he was a rookie this year.
Okay, I was saying.
He was taken number 2 pick behind Trevor Lawrence.
Really? I didn't even remember that.
I think that's what it said.
I mean, I don't remember who the second pick was in either way. But right there, that's what, 4 or 5 teams right there?
Yeah, and then Tua in Dolphins.
Yeah, but I think Tua's shown glimpses of it.
Jameis at Saints.
Which is
Goff
crazy.
at Lions. Daniel Jones in Giants.
Yeah, he's actually showed.
Fitzpatrick in Washington.
Yeah, that's so crazy that Fitz is starter. That's dope. I love Fitzmagic, bro. He's
G.
such a fucking journeyman. But
Fast.
Jimmy G's lost his Trevor Lawrence. Or not Trevor Lawrence, fucking
Trey Lance.
Trey
They
Lance.
named Jimmy G the starter.
Probably for the same deals,
Yeah.
you know.
And then we got-
and so he can learn a little bit.
And then we got Jalen Hurts in Philly.
Yeah, makes sense.
And now he has Gardner Minshew to back him up.
Yeah.
Carson. Honestly, if Carson Wentz is injured long term,
His foot. They said he was going to be out for a while.
yeah, I know that. Honestly, would probably be.
There was talks about Cam going to Indy when he got cut from the Panthers. And
looking at this list, maybe the Steelers because it's got. I know he wouldn't start over Big Ben because Ben's been there long.
I think this is Big Ben's last season.
But that's what I'm saying. If you can get in there, learn the playbook, learn from
Yeah.
Big Ben a little bit.
And that's the thing. So he's good enough to be a starter in at least 5 teams in our opinion, right? Our humble opinion. So now, how many teams would you be good enough to be a backup? I know my Cowboys said that they're cool with what they have. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I wouldn't mind having Cam as a backup.
We'll see what they. And again, that goes back to
The stain.
the saying. Okay, so you have Dak, and then I don't know who yours backup is.
Well, I know we cut Ben DiNucci. I know we.
Yeah,
have,
I saw that you guys cut a couple guys.
we have
quarterback-wise.
Garrett Gilbert is our 3rd string. I'll look it up right now.
But what I was, those guys might be better locker room guys.
Cooper Rush. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have Cooper Rush.
Like if you bring Cam Newton, who has all these rookie of the year, blah 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 blah,
and
blah,
he's a
blah,
fucking diva and brings his literal and figurative baggage with him.
into the locker room.
Yeah.
See, that's like we said. That's going to be the issue: is are they willing, these teams where he is good enough to be a backup?
Or a starter, yeah.
Are they willing to bring in the baggage? Because a lot of these teams that were down there that we were reading, they have young quarterbacks that they're trying to work through.
Yeah, trying to train them the right way.
And so they don't want to bring in Cam's baggage to have him start over these guys and
teach them the wrong way. Yeah.
And so
Dude, Cam hasn't been the same since he rolled his truck.
And to be honest, without the whole political thing of Kaepernick, I think he would still have a job.
Most definitely.
Because I believe the same thing about Tebow. Tebow's religion when he was a quarterback, he wasn't a good quarterback. But mind you, that man did something that some quarterbacks.
He was a workhorse, though.
Some quarterbacks never play in a playoff game.
This
man beat the Steelers in the playoffs.
Dude, there's first overall picks in the drafts some years that are quarterbacks that never even play in an actual game.
And so I think
Tebow was first pick, wasn't he?
No, he was first round, but he was later in the first round.
Got you. And he broke like every fucking Florida Gator record.
And so I think that Kaepernick's political views and how you feel about those.
That, like I said, that's all
here and there. It's too much baggage.
Yeah.
No matter if he is good enough, because I do believe he's at least good enough to be a backup somewhere.
100%.
But his baggage is too much.
Yeah, the media will focus on the baggage and ask. They will never you go out and have a good game. They're not even going to fucking talk about it.
It'll be like, how does your view affect that player over there?
Yeah.
Like,
and then every time they go to interview another player on your team, they're going to ask that player questions about said person. You know, players do not like that shit.
And so Cam, I feel like Cam's getting to that point where he has a lot of that baggage, whether it's baggage we know about or baggage behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That he may end up. Obviously, someone's going to give him a shot.
Probably.
Because it's not something polarizing. He'll get a shot. It's just when.
Yeah, and with who?
But I just see it as, from the outside we say, oh, he should be a backup at least somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's like, your Cowboys, obviously, they've gone on record saying, they didn't call him out for his baggage.
No, they said he's a great quarterback and deserves to start the position somewhere, and somebody will pick him up. They talk highly of him. They said, but we're good with what we have
because they understand
what comes along with it.
What comes with it? They're like, okay, if we bring him in, he'd be good backup for Dak probably.
Oh yeah.
But is it worth the baggage?
Yeah.
Is really essentially that's what they nicely
said.
Most
definitely. Just like the COVID thing, like with Urban Meyer, but no, 100%. And then you gotta have staff dedicated to him 24/7 to cater to him, which takes the attention off somebody else. And plus, they're trying to break these young players and build, because Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers and shit, they sat behind other players and became what they are. They weren't just superstars as soon as they touched down. Dak, incredibly, mind you, he had been fucking killing it in training camp his rookie season, and then a stroke of, it's sad to even say it that way, because I'm a huge Romo supporter and fan as a quarterback, obviously as an analyst too, but a stroke of luck for Dak's career. Let's say that. Romo fucks his shit up in preseason and opens the door for Dak to come in and ball his ass off with his tongue out like he's MJ. It's sad. It's a sad situation. Really sad. That shit was heartbreaking. You watch Tony Romo's retirement speech where he cried and shit. I mean, even if you weren't a Cowboys fan, that had to touch you somehow. Pause. But so I understand they're trying to break new players. New players don't just come into superstars, so you have to build. Yeah. And Cam would take a roster spot, take from somebody who has potential to be that.
And my biggest question is Cam's ego
getting in the way?
Getting in the way of him taking a backup spot.
I don't know. That's a good question. You would think it would, but who knows now?
That's my question.
He knows doors are shutting. He might not. But yeah.
Because if somebody hits him up, say Indy hits him up and says, "Hey, look, we want you, but we don't know what the plans are." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, you got to come off the bench.
Is Cam gonna be like, nah? Is he gonna pull a Dennis Schroeder and hold out and be like, nah, bro, I'm better than that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm not taking your money.
And then you hear the doors slamming. Click, click, click.
Oh.
Hey, you still got those millions? You got any more of those millions left?
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck. No, I get it. So I know his pride. He might be that proud of a person to where his pride keeps him out of the league because or who knows? Maybe he ate some humble pie and
He's just ready to get back to business. Because what's the best fucking job to have in the NFL?
Backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback. Get paid pretty big money with very little risk of injury.
Yeah, I mean, you get practice reps, really.
Yeah, but I don't know. My whole thing playing sports, any sports, but especially football, as well as you, is practice sucks, practice sucks, practice sucks. Fuck, I see the finish line. The game. We're looking forward to the game. And the game is exhilarating. As a backup, especially when you had the fucking entree of being a starter and being the face of the franchise, Rookie of the Year, Under Armour's.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say, oh man, I went from filet mignon and lobster tails, now I'm having some crab legs and, a T-bone. It's great still, but it's not what you're used to. So.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
And it's tough.
I said, you want to touch on the Cam Newton story? You said the quick answer is, we've been on this story probably longer than anything, which is fine, But speaking to get off that, staying with football, this kid that just started his freshman year in high school, guys, high school, Justice Terry, he goes by Jay. This kid is from Georgia, from a smaller town in Georgia, I believe. 6'5", 260 pounds. 6'5", 260. Plays defensive end. You said
when I looked at it, it said D end / tight end. Is what it said.
And I saw his highlight tape and watched him run some ball, like goal line shit, just storm through people. And then a little farther out, he was playing fullback, he was blocking. But this motherfucker is a beast. Holy shit! Not just his size, his play, but he's a man playing amongst boys. Mike, you're 6'4", bigger guy. If you went out there and played. Because his tape came from middle school football.
Yeah.
So if you went out there, you'd fucking dog walk him. Like when Marshawn went and practiced with the high school team in Oakland, and he was laying the fucking hammer down, like hitting them and running all over him.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to do that,
Oh, yeah, facts. Like, legit, if I went out there and got into a 3-point stance, I don't think...
Nobody's pushing you off.
Minus this kid.
Yeah.
There's no 8th grader that's slowing me down.
Yeah, I mean, you might slow you down to where you have to step over them.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I remember myself in 8th grade.
They're not pushing you backwards.
Yeah, there's no way, like...
You were big in 8th grade, right? No, you were skinny at the time, huh?
I was skinnier, but, I mean, I was still... I was, like, 5'11".
Yeah.
6 foot.
In 8th grade. It's
in,
crazy.
like, 8th, 9th grade. But I was, like, 180 pounds.
Yeah, solid.
But, like, imagine, like, even then... Like, and I was always considered taller, bigger, all that stuff, just because of my size compared to other kids. Like, this kid would have made me look like a punk.
Yeah, he's bigger than you are now. It's like height and build.
Height, yeah. Like this kid, like honestly, if his strength is the way it looks in like his individual workouts that I've seen, like he might be able to punk me right now.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy, dude. Imagine being the dad. If his dad might be a big guy because genetically it might be that way. But if his dad's my size, average size, I'm 6 foot and 260, whatever, But if his dad is my size or just an average Joe size, take out the trash. Take out your own motherfucking trash. Like Kevin Hart. Just give me that goddamn trash bag. Just give it to me. I'll take it out. Fuck this. Like the kid's running the show, dude.
Well,
they go to
that's the
parent-teacher
thing.
conferences or orientation for freshman year, and the teacher looks at the kid, hey, so is this your son? Like, no, it's my dad. What the fuck?
Right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
coaches are salivating, just drooling when they see him.
Who's checked this kid's birth certificate?
Right.
That's the question.
Right. Does he play for Bishop Sycamore?
Like did you get an envelope and you open it up and it says, I'm 15 and like $400 fill out that bitch? Like, is that what happened?
You're right. Like some like Dominicans coming over for baseball. Cuba. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, it's crazy. And like we were talking about his so
and I mean if he really is a freshman and like I'm saying that he's not, I can't believe.
It's hard to.
I don't know if I can't, but it's really hard to believe that someone that size didn't get held back a couple times.
Yeah.
Or
they said his age, didn't they? I'll look up his age.
But it's just hard to believe.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
And I've seen articles where like Texas schools parents will do that in Texas where they like don't let their kids start kindergarten until like 6 or 7.
Yeah. So they can be the biggest.
So that they can be a stud when it comes down to like middle school and high school football. But
May 28th says he was 14 years old.
That-
Jesus, dude.
and like I said, that's
fucking
if he is
wild. What's in the water down there?
right, like, but it's just it.
But he is babyface too. Like his face looks young.
Yeah, but
His body, and
I'm not
he's
saying
ripped,
he's- I'm
and
not-
he's fucking. He's not fat. He's not fat at all.
No.
he's built like DeMarcus Ware.
yeah. Well, I'm not saying that he's 20,
No.
but I think that he may
Look at
be.
his leg band blessed. Fucking right you are. It's just
I'm thinking like, and he's got. I'm not saying he's like Bishop Gorman or not Bishop Gorman, Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah.
Where he's like 25 running with these, but he's got to be 17. No, I'm not saying got to be, but in my opinion,
Yeah,
it's hard
how
to
he
believe
looks.
he's 14.
How he looks. Yeah.
Like to me, that's like the size of like a junior senior stud. You know what I mean? Not every junior senior football player looks like that guy, but like the guys who are going to play D1, that's a junior senior D1 player.
Yeah,
right there.
most definitely. Most fucking IMG starter size. Yeah. That's
So-
fuck, dude. That's crazy. Yeah.
Hey, if you are 14, bro, keep yourself healthy, make your money.
Yes.
'Cause you
Get your chicken, like Marshawn would say.
Like legit, get your scholarship, go to college, do your thing, play in the NFL, or don't. Like just use football as a way to get to college.
Yeah,
That's it.
get a degree. You know, if that's what you want. You know.
Like do you? And if I'm just over here talking out my ass and the dude really is 14,
Pretty
hey,
sure he is, man.
hey, bro, respect.
Hey, bro. Sorry for those comments.
Yeah, I'll take out the trash. Don't worry.
Oh man. So what are we switching into? The only thing I have on my list is the Gelo Ball. I don't know if you want to switch gears into basketball or not.
Yeah, I mean that was what I had up next was finally we've got some news about what's going on with Gelo.
And we've been strong supporters of the whole Ball family. Let's not get it twisted. Go ahead.
But Gelo he said he's very thankful. He's not taking what's happening for granted, but he has signed an Exhibit 10 contract
Which is different. I've never heard that before the other day.
with Charlotte. And I didn't know the technical terms, so I had it pulled up. So ultimately, this says that an Exhibit 10 deal was written into the collective bargaining agreement for teams to maintain the rights of non-roster players. So that means that he can be taken from NBA to G League, because
Which is the farm league, essentially. For
and
people
so
that
it
don't know.
used to be that you have a G League contract, and so say he played for the G League team for
X amount of games.
this team,
Yeah.
whatever team, the
Oh, yeah,
Pistons,
they're
anybody could sign him,
Yeah.
not just the Pistons,
Yeah.
but any team.
Let's
but
see,
with
I'll-
these,
I'll look up Charlotte's G League team.
but these Exhibit 10s and two-way contracts allow the NBA to hold his rights, so that the Pistons can't slide in and sign him out from underneath the Hornets, or you know what I mean?
Greensboro Swarm.
Yeah. So essentially, he's gonna play, do training camp, that kind of stuff
Preseason.
with the Hornets, and then they'll make their decision. But even if they, and I have a feeling he probably will spend some time down there with the Swarm.
Probably. And this is a win-win for him because he was literally just trying to get the G League.
Oh,
he
yeah.
He went in and started working out with his brother to try to make the G League team because he's even logical and knows where he's
Oh, he knows
probably
those
getting
stepping
done.
stones.
Yeah. So for him, this Exhibit 10 contract is a win-win. I mean, if he shits the bed, he makes a G League team. If he shows out and balls out with his tongue out like the owner, Michael Jordan, then he can make the active roster.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a win-win for Gelo.
And this means that even if he does go down to the G League, that some other team can't swipe him up.
Yeah.
The Hornets have his rights.
Which that could be good or bad. Because what if another team wants him, but the Hornets are like, nah, bro. But he could get signed to another team, even if it's on the bench. Like, that kind of fucks him out that. But, I mean, I think he'd rather be around his brother anyways. His brother won Rookie of the Year. He's the face of the franchise over there, you know, with Terry Rozier. But
Yeah.
still, it's LaMelo Ball hype over there.
And so
So his brother's, you know, got Gelo's foot in the door.
oh yeah, and then so these Exhibit 10 deals are their 1-year contract with no guaranteed money.
Yeah. Damn.
They have a lot of built-in clauses
You know what the cool thing is, though? He don't need money. He's got money.
Oh, yeah.
So the money thing, he's doing it for the love of the sport to try to get somewhere right now.
They also feature a lot of bonuses in them because they're non-guaranteed contracts. Between $5,000 and $50,000 that have players waived, and they report to the G League team for at least 60 days. There's different like bonuses built in so that so that you can make money with not having a guaranteed contract. They're between draft and start of the regular season is usually when they're signed. This allows the teams to hold the rights and see if they want to pursue a longer contract, like an actual two-way deal.
They obviously see something in him, because if not, they wouldn't have signed Exhibit 10. They would have left his rights open for any team. So they obviously want to hold rights to him because they see something, there's potential.
Yeah, and so only teams with a G League affiliate can use these style of contracts, which means that Denver, Phoenix, and Portland cannot, because they're the only teams that don't have a dedicated G League.
Gotcha.
And then if he is given an actual two-way contract, the maximum he can make for the season would be $449,000.
Nice chunk.
But two-way players can only appear into up to 50 games in the NBA.
Until they,
And then they spend time, and then they have to spend the rest of the time in the G League.
or they have to get signed on as active. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They'd have to change that contract.
Gotcha.
These things are relatively new. Both of these, the Exhibit 10 and the two-way, they only were introduced at the end of the 2017 season.
Yeah.
So it's a learning curve.
It's in its infancy. Yeah.
D'Angelo's obviously made some kind of thing. He did say that the atmosphere in Charlotte is a lot different than Detroit and even OKC.
Yeah.
He says that like the organization that like talks to him and wants him to be there and is trying to help him get better. He said that in the other places it kind of wasn't like that. It was kind of just like he was there, and he kind of had to try to figure things out on his own. And so he really likes how committed he feels like the Hornets are to not just him, but their players in general
and their play style. And like I said, his brother's in there, won Rookie of the Year, and is so he's got that chess, not chess piece. He's got that what is it, the trump card, not Trump. You know what I'm saying though? But dude, if he makes active roster with the Hornets, I'm 100% buying a jersey. I get rep for that boy.
Which is crazy because
he's my favorite out of all the Ball family.
I think I would probably say if I had to choose one, he would be, because I feel like he was the one who got screwed.
His grind and
and he's grinded to even be
noticed
to where he's at. Like he's gone against. He fucked up in UCLA. We've talked about that many times.
Yeah, shit happens. He was young.
Where he did something dumb, and I think the way it was done,
the punishment for it was
the way that the Ball family handled it is not how I think it should have been handled. And I think he would have already been in the league if it wouldn't have been handled that way.
I agree.
But not my kid. I wasn't I wasn't.
He wasn't their kid either. He wasn't a kid, and they, but that's the thing that Big Baller just had them like they did whatever Big Baller's way got him to where they're at right now, even including Gelo where he's at right now in the sense of like you said, he probably would have been in the league, but it got him to where he's at, where he's scratching and fighting. But that's just going to be like one of those things with him. It's going to be more of a story to tell at the end of his career that like look what I had to overcome to get here.
Yeah, and so to me, I think I would have to say he's my favorite just because
you can relate to his grind.
He literally, I feel like he got screwed over. Partially his fault.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
And partially his dad's fault because his dad knew by telling him to leave UCLA that he would leave UCLA.
Yeah.
And like I said, as it's a parent, like the parent was like, okay, I think this is the better option.
Yeah.
And as a parent, sometimes we do make decisions that we think are going to work out. It didn't really work out for Gelo.
No, it didn't.
And I don't know how their conversations have gone behind the scenes. For all we know, LeVar said, hey man, I fucked up pulling you from UCLA. It wasn't the move. I thought it was going to be. Thought it was going to give you a bigger platform.
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
My bad. Well, and you see that Gelo's the only one of the three that are loyal to Baller, the brand.
Mhm.
He's still, and it's not because I don't think it's because he doesn't have offers from companies. Like they all before they had offers, they were, they were with Baller Brand, and Lonzo was the first one. Like, and see, that's why I like Gelo the most. Lonzo, he like tries too hard to be cool. Like he tries too hard to be thug in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like they grew up in Chino Hills, like nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice house. He was driving an Escalade when he got his license. Like they grew up. Let's not get it twisted. They didn't grow up in the hood. They didn't grow up anywhere near the hood. The most hood thing that they grew up around was Big Baller and the way he talks. You know what I'm saying? And the uncles and shit.
Yeah.
Mind you, Baller, his dad, Big Yank or whatnot, his brothers, none of them have ever sipped a drink of alcohol, never smoked a cigarette, never done any drugs from what the family says. And I kind of believe it because look at Big Baller freaked out when he seen Gelo had tattoos. Like, you don't do that shit, it's your body, it's your temple. So anyways, Lonzo tries too hard with the do-rag and the way he talks and acts. Like, he's like one of those Malibu's Most Wanted, like trying so hard, right?
He's like one of those rich kids who slums it.
Yeah.
He goes and hangs out.
Yeah,
But he doesn't act. He doesn't really go hang out in the hood.
Yeah,
But he's just trying to act like he hung out in the hood.
and I could be completely fucking wrong, but that's how it seems to me from an outsider watching their show and all that.
Yeah.
Then you get Mello, who's the youngest kid in that, how they are, just don't give a fuck, balls to the wall. Probably is one of the ones you could hand a pistol, not anymore, but probably could hand a pistol to and say, shoot, fuck that mother, pow,
Yeah.
And you get Gelo, who's so calm. He's cool, like with as cool as a cucumber. He collected, real mellow. You can hear it in his voice. Just nah.
He's very like methodical with the way he does things.
Yes, you think he's a deep thinker. It seems like, and the way he talks, he sounds and carries himself like in real life how a real gangster does. They don't talk about how gangster they are. It just you can tell when you're in the presence.
Yeah, you just have that presence. Like,
yeah,
he's not gonna say, "Hey, bro, I'll shoot you."
Yeah, it's just gonna happen. But I'm not saying that he's going to do any of that, or even is like that.
It's
just that how the mannerisms he carry kind of throw that vibe. Throw that vibe.
Yeah, he's not out there like, "Hey, bro, I'm out here doing this."
That would be Lonzo. That'd be Lonzo trying to brag about it, and then Mello wouldn't brag about it. It would just keep coming up in social media, without him knowing.
Oh yeah, well that's
he's reckless. Mello, or I don't know, he was. Hopefully this shit changed him.
I'm saying he seems to be this. His first rookie year,
he's only dating porn stars, dude. He dated he dated Tiana Trump, and now he's dating Anna Montana, not Hannah, Anna Montana, who's like 33-year-old porn star. Like,
I guess
maybe he's in some freaky shit, bro. Fuck.
Hey, do you, boo boo?
Shit. Oh yeah, it's crazy. But yes, Gelo. It's not about relating to. I just relate to his struggle and what he's going through. And I say struggle with air quotes because really, let's be real, none of them have had hard lives.
No, but his passion to keep fighting for what he wants.
After having surgery and all that shit. But I don't know, like
man's had doors slammed in his face.
Oh
and
yeah.
Still just like, you know what? Nope. I know I can do this. Nope, I know I can do this.
Fucking Stephen A. Smith, everybody has laughed at him on air saying he'll never be anything. It's I can't even talk like Stephen A. You know he is. He'll never be anything. He's not even the third best brother. He's had to see the shit. He declared for the draft, watched the whole draft in a suite at Lakers Stadium, didn't get drafted. Like he's had every reason to fucking ball up and quit. Every
just
fucking
go
reason.
get a job.
Yeah. And he modeled for a while, and he was making money off that. Like, I don't know. You see that we really respect Gelo. Well, I respect the whole Ball family, but Gelo's my favorite out of the three. And if I'm not when he makes that team, not if when he makes the roster for the Hornets.
Team.
Yeah, I'm saying the Hornets, but yeah, no matter what team, but definitely the Hornets. Whatever. No matter what team he goes to, I'm buying a fucking Gelo Ball jersey, supporting that man. You feel me? So that's how I feel about it. So, and in the Ball family, we've watched them grow up from high school and shit. Like they've been social media stars and then had their own series on Facebook. So tuning in, you've seen them throughout the years. It's almost like you watch them grow up, like you're a part of it in a sense. You know. So that's why it's so polarizing. Also, I believe.
Yeah.
So. That's how I feel about that. I don't know if you have any more to add to that.
No, that's really how it is. Like, But continuing with NBA news, after retiring 5 months ago due to some heart concerns, LaMarcus Aldridge has been cleared and will be returning for a 1-year veteran minimum, which is $2.6 million, to play with the Nets.
Damn.
So he signed alongside of
Everybody.
Blake Griffin.
Every fucking buddy.
I know. I'm just
No.
dumbfounded on how many big guys they're signing.
It's going to be weird to not see him in a Portland jersey.
Aldridge, Millsap, Blake Griffin, Claxton, Kevin Durant. Like, this lineup is going to be the tallest average height in the NBA. Like, but the crazy thing is, they have 15 guaranteed contracts already. So by signing him, they have to cut.
Yeah.
Not put on the put your suit on.
Yeah.
They have to physically say, "Hey, bro, you don't play for us no more."
Yeah, because you own 13. 5 starters and then 8 bench.
Well, you have 2 that don't suit up.
Oh, okay.
So you're allowed 15,
Yeah.
but there's already 15.
Yeah.
So they about to cut somebody
Yeah.
to bring back someone who
Has medical condition.
LaMarcus Aldridge, stud,
Yeah.
Portland,
Oh, yeah,
like,
100%.
great player. But for him to walk away because of medical conditions, which was the right decision for him,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Not against-
And how long was he on for?
5 months.
5 months. Oh, yeah. I thought it was more than a couple of years. But...
No, 5 months, because he did play for the Nets for a little bit, and then he retired due to the heart stuff.
Gotcha.
But the thing is, like, you're gonna trust that in 5 months those heart issues have fixed themselves.
Right. Well, I'm sure he's
And
got
the
doctor
doctors-
clearance.
The Nets doctors have cleared him.
Yeah.
Other doctors have cleared him.
His personal doctor.
But is he better than the guy you're cutting, or is it just because it's LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yeah, because of the name. But they don't need name. They got a bunch of fucking. They get huge.
That's
names.
what and I don't know who's deep on the Nets bench.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly, he's probably better than the guys that aren't suiting up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the Nets roster.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because he's LaMarcus Aldridge. He's better than the guys that are wearing suits at the end of the bench, but
Yeah.
is he better than the dude wearing the jerseys?
Let's see.
I don't know how
this
deep
is
their roster is.
This is what it shows as of now. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown Jr., Nicholas Claxton, Patty Mills, LaMarcus Aldridge, obviously, Cameron Thomas, James Johnson. That motherfucker's a fighter, literally. He's a black belt and shit. Reggie Perry, Javon Carter, DeAndre Bembry, Day'Ron Sharp, Jalil Okafor,
He real fast. Didn't know dude still played.
Who, Okafor?
Yeah, I didn't know he was still playing.
Neither did I. And then, how do you say it? Sekou Doumbouya, David Duke, Kessler Edwards, Marcus Zagorowski,
Okay, so there's some names on there that I have never heard.
Raekwon Gray. Yeah.
So yeah, cut.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. But, yeah, that's...
Jaleel Okafor, bro. Sorry, but I didn't know you still play.
Yeah.
If I'm being 1,000% honest, didn't know.
And there's other players I didn't know even existed. So-
Right? Yeah. So I mean, cut one of those dudes. If Aldridge doesn't suit up in a jersey every game and he has to wear a suit once in a while, I doubt they'll make him do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just the respect for the veteran, but I mean, and then the bigs they have, the players they have are, veterans or older, so who knows?
Like I said, I just think they're gonna, like the Lakers are gonna average the oldest starting lineup.
That's crazy.
These guys are gonna average the tallest starting lineup, like because Kevin Durant just skews that already.
Oh yeah. Isn't the Hornets the youngest starting lineup, or is it? No, it was the Suns, wasn't it?
It was the Suns last
Chris
year.
Paul's old ass came in. Oh, sorry. And he's not even old. He's not even old. Let's be real. I think I'm about to be 36 in about a week. I think he's 35 or 36. So I mean, in
Sports
comparison-
that's old.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like when we were
100%.
talking about Manute Bol earlier.
Yeah.
All doors for athletes close at 30. Like a lot of doors
They open
close
at
at 30.
19, close at 35 years
Yeah.
old.
Um,
Yeah, and KD is 6'11", 7-footer, but they list him at 6'10".
yeah, that's like that Draymond Green thing. He said, "You'll never admit you're 7 foot."
Yeah, exactly. The funny thing is, he said that. Remember when he hit that game? What should have been tie or game winner for Game 7 in the game they lost out of the playoffs, and his foot was on the line. He's like, if I didn't have such big goddamn feet, we would have won. Dude, have you seen KD's feet? His feet look photoshopped when you see some of the pictures.
Oh yeah,
It does not match. Well, I guess it does, like long and skinny, but his feet look like fucking a 2x4 attached to his ankle. It's fucking
so
weird.
OKC actually is rolling out one of the youngest starting lineups.
Damn. Oh, I did see something about that.
Now, yes, because they have Gilgeous Alexander, who's 22, a kid on there who's like 20, 21, 20.
Doesn't that look fake to you?
Yeah, they literally, if I'm being honest, they kind of look like
They look like hockey sticks.
hockey sticks, or if you've ever seen like polo, like
Yeah.
polo sticks off the back of a horse.
Yes.
That's what they look like.
They look like a seal with two little flip.
Yeah.
Not little.
Hey, no hate to him. Like that's your feet, but
It looks like someone photoshopped and stretched a foot.
facts.
It doesn't look weird, and they're not wide. Like,
They're very narrow,
I mean,
like
they're,
skis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
this man could. You know how people like
Yeah, barefoot ski?
Yeah, barefoot ski. This man easily barefoot ski.
Jesus. Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
And then Ben Simmons is we all know man can't shoot, but
Oh my
he doesn't want
God.
to play for Philly. Like he's not showing up to training camp.
He said there's bad blood.
He wants to be traded. Part of it stems from the coach not saying they could win a championship with him as at the helm. Probably a lot more behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few landing places that people are throwing out right now.
Not fucking Golden State. We don't want him.
Trailblazers, the Warriors are the number 2 spot.
No.
The Hawks are the number 3 spot. The Nuggets are the number 4.
Yeah,
and then
no.
the Timberwolves would be the number 5.
They can all have him.
Cleveland's on that list too.
Oh, fucking Cleveland is shit.
And honestly, they actually, on here, it says that Cleveland would probably be a good fit because it would make him the number 1 option.
Yeah. But he's fucking. He'll be looking to pass it to the number 2, 3, 4, or 5. So he
can't shoot.
He doesn't even try.
And it's crazy. Some of these names being mentioned, like Trailblazers, Simmons for McCollum.
What?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me go trade in my brand new car for a fucking beater from '72.
Yeah,
Like,
so
what?
it would be like McCollum and Covington.
And
yeah,
there's more than
Yeah.
Simmons.
They could, yeah.
Oh, and you got to take on his fucking contract.
And then we already talked the Warriors.
I'd take Cam Newton as my starting basketball player over fucking Ben Simmons, dude.
Yeah, and the Warriors, the names being thrown around leaving the Warriors for this guy.
Yeah. Not from the Warriors. The Warriors didn't name this.
No, well,
Just talk.
It's all talk. It's not. Nothing's been.
Yeah, read that list of motherfuckers they want for Simmons.
These are things that, like Wiggins, Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman. These are names being thrown around in the talks. And like I said, that's not saying the Warriors are out here trying to shop these guys.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, though, is Ben Simmons made the All-Star team 4 out of his 5 seasons. So is it just one shit season? Or one shit postseason? Because what was he doing that was so good before?
And that's the thing is...
He won Rookie of the Year his second
the
year in.
NBA All-Star it's a popularity
Yeah,
contest.
1 million percent. 1 million percent.
The NBA, literally, there's guys who hadn't started games that were named as starters. Like guys who were not started, they didn't start because they bad. They would just have been hurt.
Yeah.
And they literally were making starting spots on the All-Star game.
Well, when fucking Damian Lillard gets snubbed multiple times, like, fuck the All-Star votes.
Right.
How you gonna fucking snub Damian Lillard? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, shit like that, but I don't know. Like I said, I'd take Cam Newton on the Warriors over fucking Ben Simmons. Hell, I'd take that 6'5", 260-pound freshman, Justice J. Terry, over Ben Simmons.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's stupid. But that's all I have. Do you have anything else you want to talk about or discuss?
No, I mean, that's kind of wrapping it up. We did... we did see that Scalabrine.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, fire that off. Brian Scalabrine.
Yeah, Brian Scalabrine. For those of you that don't know,
is a retired NBA player. He was a journeyman, bounced around the league for 10, 11 seasons.
11 seasons. He played 11 seasons. As a championship ring from when he was with the Celtics.
He was bottom barrel of the NBA, but still made it.
Yeah, he averaged 3 points a game, earned $20 million. But I guess he still likes to play like rec games and like stuff like that. Just stay in shape, you know.
Yeah, well, that's when you work your ass. That's your fucking favorite thing to do. Of course, you're gonna go play your sport, you know.
And so I guess people talk about how he sucks.
Yeah,
because of his stats and stuff like that.
His reply is fucking gangster.
And I guess he tells them that, yeah, I did suck. If you compare me to the stars in the league.
Yeah.
But if you compare you to me, then you suck.
Yeah.
He's like, but the difference is I'm a lot closer to LeBron and these stars than you are to me.
Yeah, and skill-wise. He's closer, obviously, personal relationships. But he's talking about skill, right?
Yeah, he's talking about skill. He says literally, like Brian Scalabrine to LeBron, skill-wise, is closer than any Joe Schmo
to
Brian Scalabrine, skill-wise.
Yeah. And he's not wrong. He's not.
No, he's not. Because he said, there's only about 400 guys get to play in the NBA a season.
Yeah.
He did it for 11 seasons. So to be one of the best 400 for 11 seasons?
There's ballers that have to go play in other leagues across seas because they can't even be in the NBA. You know?
I mean, he's not wrong.
No.
And then
his fucking conference after. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and then when we were going down the rabbit hole to see how much he had made, and he made like about $20 million in his NBA career,
not including endorsements, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, he's like one of those players that like everybody loved, like fans.
Like Fitzpatrick.
Everybody.
But Fitzpatrick's a better athlete when it comes to that.
And I guess some reporter after the 2008 championship,
the one he won with Celtics,
asked him how it felt to not play a single second in an NBA Finals but still be a champion.
Do you remember
this guy?
Do you remember it?
He said, maybe right now, that's what everybody noticed.
Yeah.
But he says in 5 years, nobody will remember.
Yeah, 5. They say 5 years.
5 years, nobody will remember that I didn't play a second.
And he was spitting it out like.
And he said in 10 years, people might think I even.
No, he said, I'll tell my kids I started.
Well, no, yeah, it was in 10 years. He said I could tell people that I started.
Yeah.
And he says
in 20
years. He said something, and then he said in 30 years I could tell. Oh no, in 20 years. Yeah, no, in 30 years I could tell people I was the MVP.
Yeah. He said 5 years from now nobody will remember. 10 years from now, I'll tell my kids I started. 20 years from now I was MVP or something to that effect. Yeah, we missed. There's one that we missed in there, but Jesus Christ, that shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I was literally slapping my. It was a knee. I was slapping my knee laughing.
And I mean he's not wrong. He pretty much said. Like, right now, in the moment, like, yeah, people understand, like, I didn't play any time, but I'm still a ring. But 20 years from now,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He's
and
still
I have
a champion.
Ring. Yeah, I have a ring.
And sometimes those guys, like Brian Scalabrine...
What do you say? Hold on. I think he said 5 years from now, nobody will remember. 10 years from now, I'll still have a ring. 20 years from now, I'll tell my kid that I started. And 30 years from now, I'll tell him that I was MVP, right?
Yeah, something like
that. Dude, that shit was so
And the craziest thing is, he's not wrong.
No.
Because right now... If you're like, okay, because we know Luke Walton has some rings. Mm-hmm. Not Luke Walton, Bill Walton. Sorry, his dad, not Luke Walton.
Okay, gotcha.
The dad has rings. Can you tell me his points for those championships without looking it up?
No.
No. We know that the man has a couple rings.
Yeah.
Because he's a champion. And sometimes those guys, like Scalabrine and the role players that don't get a ton of minutes, their biggest help is being there in practice to push those other guys.
Yeah. Just a veteran presence to some, you know?
Yeah, like, so, yes, dude wasn't the greatest NBA player. Not even close. But he is a champion. And for 11 seasons, 3 different NBA teams saw something in him that they didn't see in not just a couple other guys, but thousands of other guys trying to make it into the league.
And paid him $20 million to do it.
So, for people that say, And I mean, we as fans, we do it all the time where we're like, "Oh, you fucking suck!
Yeah.
You missed that field goal, or you
Yeah.
missed that 3-pointer."
Yeah, you go out and do it, buddy.
And speaking of missed field goals, Parkey or whatever Bears kicker a few years ago, he missed a game-winning field goal, and all
Yeah.
these Bears fans were bashing him. And
Bleacher Report.
somebody, Bleacher Report or somebody out front of the Bears next game set up that field goal.
Same yardage.
With no defense.
Yep.
With nothing in front of them. And said, all right, all you Bears fans want to say you could hit that kick?
Do it.
Here's the kick. With nobody running at you. No time. You can set up, take your time, kick it. Most people missed it.
Yeah.
There was probably a couple that did hit it. But all the ones I saw, missed.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, didn't even get error. Dude, I just came across a story. Brian Scalabrine misspelled his own name on his gloriously hideous jacket. Wearing a fucking green Celtics jacket.
See, he's like that class clown that everybody loves.
That's what people were saying. Oh, man, I wish he would have played in Today Error with Reddit. The memes would be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because he can make fun of himself. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, they literally, they jokingly called him the White Mamba.
Jokingly.
There's
a big white guy with red hair.
Yeah,
he fit in with Boston. He looks Irish. He might be. He might be actually.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, he had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He was
He still is having fun.
Yeah, and he's just one of those guys that everybody likes.
Fucking
Speaking
goofball.
of, I just remember seeing this article this morning. There was a couple pictures of Melo working out, Carmelo working out with
Carmelo
the Lakers.
Anthony, yeah.
And there's people that are saying that they haven't seen him this happy, to be with a team, and just in forever. Like when he was with, the Nets
or the Nuggets, probably.
Back since then. He was having fun with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
But then Hoodie Melo came out, and you know how he just kind of
because AI came over to Denver, and then all of a sudden he took on that AI kind of started wearing the sleeve, the braids, all that shit.
Well, what I'm saying is the teams after he just didn't seem like himself.
No. Yeah.
And in the Nuggets he was that young, fun loving, and then he kind of got into those
Yeah, he got fucked over on that.
I don't know if I want to say depressed time, but kind of darker times in his career.
Yeah.
And then people close to him, I guess, now are saying they've never seen him, they haven't seen him this happy in a long time to be playing basketball.
That's cool now because when he was out of basketball for a couple seasons and then Portland picked him up, they said that he was so gracious and so he was happy to be there because a team took a chance on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah, but yeah, no, so it was just a little snippet of, it was a couple shots of him grinning ear to ear during practice and
great,
stuff.
now you guys are going to fucking win again.
And so I was like, that's kind of a cool way to look at it, for him, because for him, basketball was a big thing. He was supposed to be the next big thing, and
he showed
he was in Denver, and
yeah.
then things kind of happened.
Mind you, he's going through a divorce right now too, or also I believe I know that there was Lala's leaving him for cheating and shit, but
and so for him to finally be happy doing what he loves again, because for
that's
a lot
priceless.
of those pro athletes, it goes from being something they love into a job. And then some of them lose the passion, lose the love for it.
And that's when they retire. Who was it that said the day they stopped loving the game is the day they were. I think Pat McAfee was part of it.
His and Pat McAfee, a lot of things played into his.
Well, yeah,
not being able to smoke.
His comedy tour that
his comedy tour, and then he said Bleacher Report came to him and was like, "Hey, look, we think you'd be good over here," and he said it just all lined up for him, and he took the leap of faith, and hey, look at you now, killing it, Pat.
Fuck yeah, dude. He's like the sports version of Joe Rogan, for the podcast.
Facts.
He's got I don't know of another podcast that's even close to Pat McAfee's sports podcast.
Honestly, if you were hey...
I mean, minus us, but whatever. All 40 of our YouTubers.
If they were hey, what sports podcast do you listen to? Honestly, Pat McAfee's the only one that I would really be able to name.
I don't listen to really any of them, but that's the only one I can think of. Besides us,
Yeah, and so.
And I listen to us, and when it airs, I listen to at least the first 15 minutes, at least, just to see how it sounded. But yeah. So I don't know. Do you have anything else?
No, that'll be probably the wrap up for this episode.
Episode 15.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're moving, people. We're up to 40 subscribers on YouTube. I haven't checked the analytics on Spotify or Anchor recently, but as usual, we really appreciate the love and support. Please continue to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. You know, it helps the algorithm, and one day we want to make this our full-time hobby. You know, we love doing this stuff. I don't want to say full-time job, because that job sounds like a nasty word that you have to do that you don't want to do a lot of times. But we'd love to make this a full-time thing and be able to, you know, monetize it and get better with our craft and bring in more stuff to, you know, make the channel bigger and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and take us away, Mike.
All right. Thanks for hanging around for episode 15 of the Big and Bliss podcast. We will see you next week.
Peace.